Welcome to the ALM Summit EMEA 2021. We are on the last day. I'm sure you must have all had a super exciting time listening to all our experts, our customers and partners over the last 4 days. I mean, this is the 4th day. We had a keynote and then day 1, 2, and 3. So here you are in the services and support track. And we have, again, a power pack day for you. We have 4 sessions in this track. I'm your host, Sharath. So I'll be part of this track, so moderating the sessions as well as helping you through the Q&A with each of our speakers. And we have a power pack array starting with Willem. So before I start, I just wanted to show you the day. So I'm sure you must be already all leveraging the event app. So feel free to go ahead and look at all the content there. Later on, you'll also be able to access material, for example, the recordings and other things that will come through. So the event app is going to be like one-stop shop for all of the things that you need post the event as well. Here we have 4 sessions. So we have built-in support and ITSM Adapter, followed by a customer session where we are showcasing how Tricentis was used along with SAP Solution Manager in one of the projects with Syzycam. And then later on, we also have additional content coming around the support topic where we will see how you can have faster answers to your how-to questions. So that's, again, something that you should look out for. Later in the day, we would have the day closing with our session on test management. And last but not the least, ensure that you're also attending the recap and farewell, which is going to be presented by Tim Stoyer, our communication VP. So feel free to attend that session because you'll sort of see the full picture of what happened during the ALM Summit EMEA 2021. Without any further ado, I would want to invite Willie. So Willem Uta is known to all. I mean, he's not new to any of you. He's our chief product owner for the support area within CSI. I mean, he's been with SAP for more than 10 years now, been in the support space, been in implementation projects and large migration projects. That's been his forte. Apart from that, Willie loves working on newer innovations. He's keenly working on topics around automation, AI, and machine learning. And like I said, he's not new. He's been on multiple SAP events and on user groups. So without further ado, thank you so much, Willie, for joining and kickstarting the day for us in the support and services track. Over to you.
Thank you, Sharon, and thanks for this beautiful introduction. We will use the next half hour plus time for Q&A to talk about the current status of built-in support and the ITSM Adapter. Let's start going to this disclaimer. I think we are asked to show that, some key links, and also think about you have this Q&A functionality to ask your questions. At the end of the session, we will try to answer all of them. Now, where are we with built-in support? You might remember in last year where we announced that there will be a new version of built-in support, and at the end of May this year, we were ready to bring something completely new. So what we have today already in S4, in integrated business planning and cloud ALM, is a completely new version of built-in support. It's important to know that this is not technically related to what we had before. It's built from scratch. It's built on web technology and cloud technology completely. So when you look at built-in support or experience built-in support, there will mainly be 3 things you see as a difference. First thing is that the support set, so the features, the actual capabilities, have been extended. When you look at the built-in support, the first thing that comes to your attention is that it looks completely different, but that's only the external impression. Technically, also everything has changed underneath. What we offer to you today from a support perspective is that we have more channels. You can already today create expert chats right out of your product. You can create tickets, you can search, you have direct links to relevant content out of your application, always related to where we are. And we also connected the search that lets you search to all repositories we will show in the demo later on. Number 2, and regarding user experience, we listen to you. So if you remember back when we launched the first version, this was purely built on a conversational UI. We got your feedback that you would like to have both. Conversational UI is perfectly fine, but what you prefer is to have a classical interface where you can navigate, you can click, you can change. So we did that. So Build and Support today is built on an architecture and the user experience that allows that. We can not only offer custom specific features, but we can also bring them to attention in different ways, dynamically and in the way you like it. And need it, because we do not only talk about S users and key users, we also talk about end users. So that new Build and Support is ready to serve all of that. Number 3, and good to know for you, is that, and maybe also good to know regarding those things we will share in this session, is that it's cloud native now and completely different and modern from its architecture. Meaning that what you will see is when we, for example, update Build and Support, when we bring a new feature, this goes completely independent of the release cycle of the product it's in. We are there where we have a daily deployment, meaning that we can bring in corrections or new features on a daily basis. It's also based on a very simple integration that plays a huge role when you talk about integration scenarios. And also, but that's more on the SAP side, helps us to bring SAP Build and Support into different products in the future. I want to do now this like bigger picture on why Build and Support and why we again focus on that and why we stress that topic so much. In the end, when we talk about Build and Support, it is, yes, it's a shift, if you will look at it like that, from portal to the product. Will the portal be available in the future? Will you be able to do ticketing and all these things in the portal? The answer is yes. It's a place to go when you want to do all things that are related to support. This is the One Support Launchpad today. It will be, and already started to be, SAP for me in the future. However, if you work in the product, especially if you keep in mind that we do not only, again, talk about key users, but also end users. So all the hundreds of thousands, millions of people using SAP products, the things change dramatically because we want you to have support offerings already where you work. Meaning the key thing is that it's support where you are, as we call it, at your fingertips in the product, literally at any screen of your SAP application. Secondly, it is, and that's the big difference, if you think about that from a portal versus product perspective, product specific, it's contextual. That's more or less the big benefit of it. And you will see in the future more and more features in Build and Support that are based on these contextual capability. Meaning we know where you are, we know what user you are, and we know what you're doing in that very moment. So when you consume Build and Support, then we can offer you something contextual. If you go to a portal, to any portal in the world of any product, this does not exist. Accordingly, the huge potential of Build and Support is always that we can provide you with specific support that might help you right away. And that's a key thing, and also the reason why we invest heavily in that kind of technology. Number 3, as said, not only key users, but also end users. We are leveraging Universal ID from SAP to make that difference, to see what kind of user profile you have and offer support accordingly. And this also expands the scope of support, while the portal focuses on our key users, and that for good reason. With the Build and Support, we want to focus one step early on the end user, providing the end user with the information he needs so that problems do not even occur in the first place. Last but not least, Build and Support brought to all our products will first ensure a unified support experience. This is something we were asked 100 times, and I think you know this very well. The question always is, if you have one product or the other from SAP, we talk about Ariba, about Concur, mainly of course cloud, but also on-prem, then the ask always was, can't we have kind of a unified experience for our users? With Build and Support, we go in exactly that direction, because what we have seen, and we showed this in the demo, looks exactly the same, the experience is the same, no matter what product is underneath. So this icon up here, this headset icon, will come to more and more products. You will have that and you will get familiar to that. Let's now continue with the demo. I prepared the demo for you in actually 2 products. As said, it's currently in 3. I selected 2. First, let's look at S4, one of our key products. S4 I think most of you are familiar with the S4 screen, the S4 applications, and let's now navigate to any kind of application here. Purchase requisition management, so far so good. And here you see this icon already. You have seen that before, it's there everywhere. So in case you might encounter any problems or you need support, you click that icon and Build-in Support is there for you. As said before, the UI is different. It's now flexible, you can make it bigger and smaller. We have these areas here, these building blocks of Build-in Support. They are, as said, contextual and they depend also on my user profile. So what you see, I'm an S user. I have for this account, for this product, I have an S user account where I'm allowed to create tickets. Accordingly, this area shows up. I see my incidents. Yeah, if I would create one, I would see this immediately here. If I had some, then I can look them up here. So that's a feature I have automatically with my user profile. If I would be an end user, that would not be visible to me because I don't have these authorizations. What I always have is these contextual links. So these links are not generic ones, yeah, but they always refer to the page where we are. You see that here. Besides things like the what's new viewer or product documentation for S4, you also see the product documentation to exactly that screen. Manage purchase acquisitions professional. That's exactly that screen. So if I click that, and again, I would like to stress that it's just one click and I get to the documentation I might need that might help me. So that's really easy for end users, for key users. If I go back, yeah, you will see that these links change automatically, dynamically. So there's nothing to do from your side. The context is always understood and reflected in Build-in Support application. A search is there as well. Yeah, so you can search the whole knowledge base of SAP. You have these direct links. Again, you can check for tickets, as said, and you have also the option to talk to a chatbot. If you prefer conversational UI, you can do this too, and then talk to a chatbot and do the actions you can do in the graphical interface as well. Now, I want to show you a concrete example how support can look like, but for that, I would like to change into Cloud ALM because we are at the ALM Summit. So I go here, next screen, and you are now, or we are now in ALM. What you will see, what does not change, is Build-in Support. So opening that one shows you exactly the same user experience. There's no difference. You can go here, there, to your whole portfolio in the future, and Build-in Support will always look the same. We also have my tickets here, because I'm an S user still, and we have, in that case, of course, different contextual links. Yeah. So here we go for the SAP Help Portal. We see some specific YouTube videos. So it's absolutely free for the product. What is relevant, what might be relevant for you, what might be relevant for the user, it can be edited here. Yeah. So again, the same mechanism. Let's simulate something now. Let's simulate I'm an ALM user and have a problem. So I close that. And maybe my plan is a landscape management. You might be familiar with landscape management. That's the place where you can integrate or register your products into Cloud ALM. And now I simulate the situation. I have integrated numerous cloud services, perfect. But then I wanted to register also my on-prem systems, my business suite. Didn't work. I got the error message when I used the respective report. So I want help. And now I try out a Build-in Support. So opening up that Build-in Support gives me the possibility to search. So I might look for solutions where I am, landscape management. First thing that comes to your attention is that they're contextual information. So I can even select one of these terms here, business suite, landscape management, business suite. I now search, and we will look at that, several repositories. I see KBAs, documents, product documentation, all mixed up in the joint list. You can also filter for specific solutions. You can always go through that, for all the repositories and select what you're interested in. Let's go for KBAs in that case, because there's one thing that grabbed my attention right away, which is this one here, the second one. So I can read through that as user. I can open them right away. Just one click. And then we see Arrowell running that. And I would say here now, hey, that's exactly what I experienced. So that might help me right away, meaning that with just this one click, I get where I find my solution out of the application. But let's now assume, it's just an assumption because maybe we can say it's the end of the story already, but I want to show you more. I don't find what I'm looking for here. But we keep that in mind. Then I can, as an S user, create a ticket for that issue. What you see immediately that the text is taken over for my search, makes things significantly easier. Yeah. Let's maybe improve or like enhance my subject, because that might be realistic. So landscape management, I want to create a ticket. Landscape management, getting error when registering business suite. Okay. What also comes up now here in this section are recommendations. These recommendations you might know from the One Support Launchpad. The One Support Launchpad has the so-called ISM, Incident Solution Matching, Intelligent Solution Recommender Service. We brought it into built-in support as well. So what we see here is recommendations for that particular problem. And what you see here is taking the subject into consideration already. That KBA that actually solves the problem comes up simply based on that data as number one. But we play it like real, so I would like to enter some more text here, description. We see that the ISM dates up automatically. And so what I describe here is the number of the register, I describe the report I'm using, and I get an error. And we see that stays number one. So that's definitely our top recommendation and would be level 2 self-service. So here I can find my solution and things are done. But let's again assume maybe I don't find the solution, just for the sake of it. Then I would need to create that ticket. And here I would need to categorize it properly. What we see also here in artificial intelligence helps a lot. So the context is taken, the text is taken, and we already see the right component helping us here. So we can select out of the 16,000 the right one. For the current example, I want to use a test component because I don't want to bother our colleagues. Don't forget that this system is real life. It's connected to our support backbone. Accordingly, our colleagues from product support would take this ticket over immediately. So I'm deliberately choosing a test component for that demo. The rest of the fields, you can change priority, you can add attachments beautifully if you would like to show the results of that report or show an error in the application. You can take a screenshot and then you add this to the attachments. But what we should look at now here is not only that we can create a ticket, create incident, that's clear, but we also integrated the expert chat. The expert chat we see here, this option only comes up if there is really people available behind that. So there's a real-time chat for available resources for this particular component, and only then you get this offered. So we don't let you sit here and wait for people to come up at any point in time. No, we know there's people stuffed for expert chat. So as a user, I would say that's fantastic. Let's do that, because expert chat always allows to get support right away. So I click on expert chat, then I have to confirm here this legal disclaimer, and then expert chat starts right away. Please be aware that I do not leave the application. I do not leave the whole window of built-in support, but what we see all happens in the application. Now an expert shows up. Let me read. Good morning. Please admit the first of your request. Keep in mind that all the information I provided earlier is automatically handed over to him, so I don't have to ask again. He simply looks at that, Venkatesh, and will provide me with an answer, most likely soon. So I say, yeah, thanks, great, we'll wait. And what will he offer me now? So he analyzed my request. Again, of course, imagine that we are in the backend of SAP now, so he has access to all the search tools and knowledge, bringing, of course, his experience and previous knowledge from his work as a support engineer. So what he's pointing at is exactly that KBA, but not with the tools I use, but with the tools internally used, pointing at the same solution, meaning support level 3. Again, getting a solution within a few moments with expert chat. So I can, of course, click that solution right away. Okay, here I have to log in because, sorry, that's now being internal. I have to do that, but I don't want to hold back the presentation. So let's go back. The thing is that with that, okay, finding the right window, I get the solution right away via chat. So for me, that's okay. Wonderful. I like it. Thank you very much. Great. And chat session ended. We can end the chat session. Yeah. Do you want to get the the transcript? Yes, I can get this via email. In that case, I don't need that. And we can also be sure that that this data is now transferred into a ticket, yeah, and then stored in my inbox. Nonetheless, to repeat that, the possibility to search for stuff, getting a solution, the possibility to get it via recommender, the possibility to get it via expert chat, and last but not least, you can always create a ticket out of that to get the classical support via SAP. Good. With this presentation, I would like to go back to the presentation and let's continue with an outlook in where we are going with building support in the future. There's two dimensions. The one is the functional one. We will definitely expand capabilities and support features in the future. So what you see in the roadmap here is a rough overview about what we will offer in the coming months, quarters, and years. And to be a little bit more concrete, because we are at the ALM Summit and we want to give you something tangible, so these extended product support links, what is that? You might have heard in the last presentation, it was, I think, last year when we introduced simplified categorization for you product functions in the One Support Launchpad. That's technology we want to leverage to make the links you have seen in the build-in support on that screen, yeah, like on my presentation here, these even more precise for you. Hot and trending support content, what is that? Based on that structure, we will offer you, and we do already in the One Support Launchpad, content that is trending, meaning that currently, at that very moment, other customers are using as well. They're clicking that content, they're looking at that content based on the area where we currently are. That content plus content, our engineers marked as so-called hot, because they see this solves problems at this very moment in specific areas, so they can mark some solutions as hot. And also in real time, then provide that information to you is a second feature. And then number 3, universal ID enhancements, in the way that when you are an S user and when you've set up your build-in support, that it's much easier, you know, to set it up more or less automatically, getting all your S user information. These 3 features we want to present and we will release in the coming 2 to 3 months. So meaning at the beginning of Q1 next year, that will be available. And I think that's a good outlook. The rest of these features you see here will come also subsequently. Schedule an expert, also very soon available, meaning that you can schedule a session with an engineer, an SAP support engineer, according to your needs. There's a calendar option, you might know that from One Support Launchpad, and then you can schedule your communication or dialogue with an engineer according to your calendar right out of build-in support. And more things, feature requests, etc., etc., etc. So that's one side of the house. The other thing is product availability. As said before, currently in SAP HANA, S/4HANA Cloud Essentials Edition, in Cloud ALM, as you have seen in the demo, and in Integrated Business Planning, IBP. But there's other products where we're already working with, yeah. And you see now this palette of products here. Can we tell you already here concrete dates? The answer is no. We are working with these products in parallel. There are several things to be done for a proper integration. But what you see here is that what we have in mind is focusing first on the cloud portfolio of SAP and bring build-in support in as many products as possible so that they can really have the seamless experience for your users going from one product to the other and always having the same kind of support experience. Now, I want briefly also now, as a next step, look into the ITSM Adapter. ITSM Adapter is a topic that is on the plate for more than a year now. Yeah, we talked about this really early, we involved you. Last year, we had several customer sessions understanding what your needs might be. I would like to give you a planning update. I won't be able to give you concrete release dates today, but I will show you concretely where we want to go. Again, and for those who haven't seen that yet, there are mainly 2 scenarios. One scenario is connecting your ITSM system to the SAP support backbone. Today, this is possible via the solution manager. What we have in mind using built-in support technology is that we connect your ITSM system with built-in support in a similar way you have seen before and allow you to create tickets to the SAP support backbone. This would mean 5 things that you would have immediately and would become much easier. First thing is that this integration, based on the simple integration, would be relatively easy. We do not talk about an integration project for half a year. We would rather talk about an integration that might take you a few weeks, maybe, to get this integrated. Effort to be decided, but should be relatively low. Completely different than a full-blown technical integration of your ITSM system with any other backend. Secondly, creating and updating tickets on SAP side. With the build-in support, as we have seen today, you could create tickets with a reference to your tickets in your ITSM system. This also means that you can keep them somehow connected. So your own ticket would be there, and also the SAP ticket. And with built-in support, you could see that in the system. You could, at that way, also leverage all the potential channels we have seen. You could do schedule an expert session soon, and already with that, potentially today, a chat session. So if you have a problem you want to report to SAP, you can do this with expert chat right out of your ITSM solution. And then, of course, use all the recommenders and the search we have seen to solve things right away on your end. So if we translate that into this kind of mock-up, and if you imagine now that would be your ITSM solution, it would be pretty simple and straightforward. So you could activate that built-in support, as we have seen that. You would have these options in your system. And to give you one example, you could then create a ticket the way we have seen it too. So you could take over fields. That would be the contextual integration we talked about. In the case of an ITSM system, would mean that we define, for example, you have a subject in your ticket, and we have a subject. You have a description, we have a description. There's attachment in your ticket, there's attachments too. So that would be the contextual integration to be done. And with that, you could then create tickets based on your internal tickets. Send them to SAP, get them back, and have, let's imagine, kind of a reference ID to connect these two. It would not be the same ticket, but it would allow you to connect these two consistently in your system with the means of built-in support. And it's also said at the same time, as we see on this mock-up here, you would also have recommenders available for the ticket creation and change process. Good, that's the one scenario. The second scenario that came up in the last year, having these customer interviews, is connecting built-in support via built-in support out of the application with your ITSM solution internally, meaning to allow your end users to create tickets, as we have seen this in built-in support, but not for SAP, but for your ITSM solution. That's a scenario that we understood might be very relevant for some customers, because it was allowed end users to send their requests, to send their questions right away to your ITSM solutions. And the vehicle to do that, the technology would again be built-in support. The benefit is clear. You could directly connect these two, your SAP products with your ITSM solution, providing support to your end users, and have the same kind of bi-directional updates, meaning the end user could also see his ticket and see if some answer has been given, and get updates via built-in support directly in the application. When we have a brief look at the overall view, how this relates, then we can say that on the left-hand side, seeing our customer system or partner system, on the right-hand side, SAP. That's what we see classical SAP support today. ITSM system, you replicate to SAP via SAP Solution Manager, or you go into the support portal, meaning One Support Launchpad or other portals of other products, and create tickets. On the left-hand side, you have your systems where your end users create tickets for your ITSM solution, usually via your own ways with your own interfaces. Now, if we bring built-in support into that equation, things change. With the ITSM Adapter connecting to your ITSM system, it would be possible to send tickets right away to SAP support systems, as said before. Not only that, but also consume these intelligent services, the real-time support channels, and also these additional smart services like search, ISM recommendations, and in the future, log analysis, maybe access to the community and things like that. Would it still be possible to create support portal tickets? Of course, yes. Would it be in sync? Yes, because it's the same account. So if I would create a ticket for SAP support via built-in support, then I can see this in the portal and vice versa. So if I create a ticket in support via the portal, it would be possible to replicate it the same way. So nothing gets lost. This information would be all in sync based on your account information. Next step would then be looking at building support, as we have seen that in the demo in S4 HANA, for example, or other SAP products. As said, it would be possible, and as even shown, to create a ticket for SAP support. So that's possible already today. And now the second part of the ITSM adapter concept would mean to connect this system, as shown before, to your ITSM solution. With that, you would get an end-to-end workflow, meaning your end user could create tickets via building support for your solution. You could help them. And I think we all know about this ratio, ranging from 20 to 1, 50, 100, even more to 1. Those tickets that need to go to SAP support could then be provided or sent over to SAP support also via the ITSM adapter or via the portal, depending on your workflow. Good. With this, we come to almost the end of the session, but now we want your input. And therefore, we created this Mentimeter survey. I think you know this very well. I would kindly ask you to take your time, take your mobile phone, scan what we have here, your QR code, or go to menti.com and enter these the code 33641683 and give us the answer to 2 questions we prepared. So I will try to show that the live results here, and you should see this. So that's question number 1. Connect SAP products to your ITSM solution via building support. As said before, that's this first scenario. You have your ITSM solution, and we want to connect that. Give me a second, just set up here a countdown. And we want then to connect this to SAP Backbone in order to create tickets from there. Yeah. So I think it's very easy for you to fill that out. I think it's mobile phone or on your browser, on your computer. That's easy. We'll take another half minute for that one question to give you the chance to provide your input. I hope there's no problem with the Mentimeter at all, but it doesn't look like that. So results are coming in constantly, and I think that looks, for me at least, quite interesting. And maybe a few words to that ITSM solution to connection. So you might ask, and we'll look at the questions then, is that easy to do? Yeah, easy to connect them? Definitely there's things for us to resolve. Yeah, we talk about any kind of vendor, you might have seen that. So I think that's one question where we will reach out to all the main vendors, and we are currently doing that to ensure that this will be a good and scalable solution. Now, you've seen there's 2 questions, so I think we should proceed. I think that's pretty easy. And now you have the chance to answer the second question, and that's interesting too, because this is now the second use case, connecting your. Okay, very careful. I think there's an error here in what is written here. I'm very sorry. The question is, careful, this use case 2 is connecting SAP products to your ITSM solution. I'm really sorry. I hope this works still too. Well, let me tell you, the question is the second scenario. Our SAP products via built-in support to your ITSM solution. So I'm really sorry that this question was replicated wrong. But please keep in mind, as said, it's SAP products to your ITSM solution for your end users. And again, apologies for that. I don't know how this could happen. Definitely my fault. And maybe talking about that solution a little bit more, we got very significant feedback from you already in several sessions we had with you, customers that said that's something they would definitely like to see, especially in the context of bigger cloud portfolios. Meaning, if customers have more products, then there's significantly wish that the end users have a standardized way to send requests to the ITSM solution to provide support there. And that's something that has been identified. We're currently not offering. Accordingly, that was a pretty clear request to make this available, which I fully understand. And therefore, we also included that into the ITSM Adapter concept and planning. Now, 10 seconds left. Thanks a lot for providing that feedback. And with this, I would say back to you, Sharad, and the questions that might be there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Willie. And as always, I mean, your sessions, you're definitely engaging your participants. Wish more of them had participated. There are a few who are silent, but that's okay. Keeping that in mind, there are obviously a few questions. We've had colleagues who are in the chat also helping with the responses, but I would still leave it with you, Willie, to answer some of them. Maybe I'll start one by one. So, let's start with the first question that I see here. So, so it's mostly around the topic, both the topics that you've had. I'll just go by what I have in my chat in the Q&A panel as per the time stamp when it came in. So the first question that came in was, how high is the probability that expert chat will be available? Is it dependent on time, topic, you know?
How high is the expert chat will be available?
Yeah. So the expert at the other end, you know. So
absolutely. That's what wait. That's exactly Well, the answer is the probability is infinite because it's already there. So this is exactly what I was showing. This expert chat. This guy on the other side was an SAP support expert. So this is already working today in the products I mentioned, and every product we roll out that will be available for you. So the answer is the expert chat is there. You can use this in S4, in IBP, in Cloud ALM right away. Yes, it depends on if the support team is available for that particular component. That might vary, but the technology is there. Now it only depends on the support teams that make the availability based on the time zone and so on. But it's there for everyone already today.
Great. And the next one is the contextual documentation link, which is provided, right? At what level is this? Is it an app or a view or a field, you know?
Nice and good question. I like that. The context depends on the application. So we get contextual information out of the application in the best possible, most granular way. Usually we go by, you can imagine that somehow like the component, SAP component structure. So we go down by a component structure to the relevant application. Often applications have their own components. Sometimes if the scope of support is bigger than some applications share a component, sometimes there's even more components for an application rather on screen level. So all support information we channel to exactly that granularity that is available in the product. And what I showed you in the roadmap is that with this product functions and this simplified categorization, we want to even make that a little bit more precise and also generalize this concept to all available products. So the answer is it depends on the support content available, to what granularity that is available, but we will try to make it as granular as possible. And you will also see, depending on the product, that some products even contain support information on screen level.
Great. And here, I mean, pretty much close to that, essentially, like which SAP incidents will be shown again, you know, is it context related, all or context related?
Yes, yes. All the activities you have to be considered as context related. That's correct. Yeah.
Great. So the next question is specifically on the NetWeaver 7.4, 7.5 on-premise on new products. So where is the built-in support getting available, you know, for these solutions?
For solutions, yes.
For on-premise, yes.
Right. Good question. It's a valid question. So to be frank, the focus of SAP is, and also for the cloud, for the built-in support is on cloud portfolio at the moment. But we hear you. We understand that you say that on-prem is still big, and it is still big. So our statement is quite clear. The main expansion will be on our cloud products, on our main cloud products, to reach as many users and end users as possible. but there will also be the possibility to integrate into on-prem systems. Here, we just have to be careful with any kind of timelines, because we currently also collecting feedback from customers where they really want to have that. Yeah, there's even questions like the ITSM Adapter, will it be available for Solution Manager? And accordingly, we have to. Okay, I can see some chat messages here. Fantastic. With the timeline, I can't give you answers, but it's absolutely clear that this will also be available for on-prem. Yeah.
Perfect. Here, I mean, pretty much a related question with S4. So I believe both the answers are that it will be available. So I would ensure that those are answered as well. If I go on to the next one, there's a question on the ITSM Adapter. So will there be an ITSM Adapter implementation for ServiceNow developed by SAP, or is it that partners will be there, implementing those?
Very good topic. Yes, absolutely great topic. Absolutely great topic. The answer is yes. The idea of the ITSM Adapter is to, and this is also the reason why we can't give you any concrete timelines yet. Again, focusing, I think this was said earlier on 2022. The answer is that we reach out to all the main vendors, and the idea is to have this ready for all main vendors. So the answer is yes. We want to make that solutions ready for these products, for ServiceNow and the other big players, and then offer that at a really low effort integration to partners and customers.
Perfect. Next one is coming from the VAR scenario. So in a scenario of VAR, value-added reseller, with the ITSM Adapter, where does SAP see the support of the partner?
When we talk about the ITSM Adapter, there's the main question at the moment we're looking into, would that work too, yeah, if we have the ITSM Adapter for indirection of SAP? That's something we are currently evaluating. There is a specific work stream on that, meaning that if the VAR partner receives the tickets from his customers and this goes to his ITSM solution, can this then be handed over with the usual way of doing level 1 and level 2 support, and then handing it over to SAP if that workflow would properly work? That's in focus. So the VAR partner scenario is in evaluation and is also on our radar.
All right. And
question. Yeah.
I have two more questions. Yeah, so it's power packed. I'm very happy that there's a lot of interaction happening. So here, the next question is to create an incident on ITSM like snow. Key issue in big company is to send it to the right support people. So are you planning to use some component field like for current SAP support, or how to set up properly custom development, around that topic? A custom component.
Yeah. So so the one side of this answer is very clear. With contextual support, you always have a big benefit in categorizing your ticket. So whenever you, for example, you would be in S4 or you would be in Cloud ALM and you create a ticket and the component is via the context plus this intelligent algorithm determined more or less automatically. So the ticket would usually not go wrong. If you have custom components in addition, yeah, custom specific components, then you still have the option to choose that, to select that, and with the recent value function to also come back to that. So it's true that the contextual identification of categorization is mainly focusing for the existing ones, not for the custom specific components, but both is possible. So the answer is that categorization will be significantly easier compared to a portal solution. And if you have custom component that you want to use, you still can do that.
Wonderful. And this question, I keep getting this, especially on SAP Cloud ALM, right? I mean, one is obviously looking at incident management because we don't have incident management within Cloud ALM. So with the built-in adapter, would there be a mechanism, say, for example, the monitoring alerts to go to an external ITSM solution?
So that scenario was not evaluated yet. I like that. I would like to take this with me as a scenario. I understand the question about the monitoring alerts from Cloud ALM, yeah. But I have to say we simply didn't look into that topic yet. But thanks for providing.
Okay, great. I mean, probably it could be one of your requirements, I guess. And yeah, and in fact, while we were speaking, one more question just trickled in. So we have a question on how about built-in support availability for S/4HANA Cloud, the private edition.
Yeah, absolute valid question. So I think this falls exactly under the first question we had. Well, I think it was second maybe, that when we focus on cloud, but we fully understand that the private edition, yeah, has to be in focus, because that's the version, the private cloud version, that is used very frequently. And accordingly, the answer to that one, yeah, we are fully aware of that requirement. And again, can't give you any exact timelines, but that's something we have in our backlog and on the roadmap.
Wonderful. So that's a lot of questions, but thanks so much, Willie, for being on top of it. And we're pretty much a clean slate at this point, and I sure hope all our participants enjoyed a thoroughly enjoyable session from you. And if you obviously have further questions, you know who to reach out to. So we are all available. Willie loves interacting with customers and partners, so feel free to reach him as well. And with that, I would then want to conclude. I would like to thank you, Willie, for taking this session. Pretty amazing session and very captivating one at that. And thanks again to all the participants. Look forward to seeing you in the next sessions.
Thanks a lot and goodbye.